Hi, I'm Edna Landau, and I feel very privileged to be spending a few minutes speaking with the Pulitzer Prize-winning composer David Lang, who is Musical America's 2013 Composer of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's exciting. You are perhaps best known as a co-founder of Bang on the Can, the Composers Collective, and I know that you also have undertaken other initiatives with your colleagues from Bang on a Can, such as starting your own record label, Cantaloupe Music, and starting your own publishing company, Red Poppy Music.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if there's any message here for emerging young artists about entrepreneurship and about taking ownership of their activities.
Well, I don't think that, I don't want to look at it from the point of view of entrepreneurship, although that's, of course, a lot of what we're involved with. But I think when you make a piece of music, what you're really doing is you're saying, I see that there's a need for something in the world that hasn't existed before, and it's not going to happen unless I do it. And so when you make that piece and you believe in it and you work really hard and you come out with something that you're really proud of, then you have the question, well, what do you do with it? So sometimes you're writing music which fits very neatly into the institutions which already exist. Sometimes you write a piece of music that already has an audience or knows where it's going to go or is designed in a way so that it's a happy fit already. But sometimes you write a piece of music that may need a special kind of player or a special audience or a special way of putting it in the right context. And I think as a composer, it's your obligation to figure out how to make these pieces live. So it's your obligation to say, here's a piece which can only be played in this particular staged way, and who's going to make that happen if I don't make it happen? So it's not, I always think that thing about entrepreneurship is really funny because I don't feel like there's any value to just building something new to build it. I feel like everything has to come out of the music. You know, so if you're making something, there's not just the right music, but there's the right player, there's the right listener, there's the right place to hear it, there's the right piece next to put next to it, or you know, everything has to be a kind of utopian act to make the world right to hear that thing that was important enough for you to work on. Mm-hmm. It might be important for somebody to hear.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And in terms of publishing, I mean, there's a lot of discussion about whether you should give up your rights to other people, and
right.
I'm sure Schirmer's has done a good job of distributing your music, and yet you chose to have Red Poppy Music, so right. What was that about? You wanted to just keep it close.
You know, what happened was when I was a young composer, I was a novello composer, and my music was owned by Novello, and I managed to put a clause in my contract that said if the company was sold, I could get my copyrights back, because I was nervous about it, and the company was unstable, and I think they were probably in the process of you know, sort of exploring different ways to take care of themselves after Novello was over already, and I was nervous about it. Mm-hmm. And so after Novello went out of business, I started thinking, you know, publishers are great and they're wonderful, and you know, when they work, they're fantastic, but nothing is eternal. Mm-hmm. And it might be better for me, having just gone through this unstable experience, to make sure I could do what I could to be in a stable situation.
And it worked well for you.
It's worked very well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Looking ahead in your calendar, I see that in the early part of the year, the International Contemporary Ensemble ICE is going to give the world premiere in Chicago of your theater work, Whisper Opera.
Right.
Now, these are two words we don't normally hear together,
right.
Whisper and opera, so I thought maybe you could tell us something about that piece and what inspired you to write it.
Right. Well, you know, I'm a composer. I love live performance. So live performance is for me the core of what it is that we do. It's not that way for every composer. My students, I teach at Yale, and a lot of my students think that the recording studio is the place where their pieces will live and where they're perfect, you know? And they work for making the absolute best possible mix and getting it out, and the live performance is an imitation of that. And I know a lot of pop music is that way too. For me, live performance is the most important thing. But because we're in a world where there's so much recorded music, and it's all recorded perfectly, and you can go to the internet and access anything balanced completely beautifully, the best players in the world at any moment, what are the things that are reserved for live performance that can only happen in live performance? So gradually over the last several years, I've been trying to sort of go through them. And it's like one of them is the community of people that you are hearing the music with. You can actually control that. One of the things is you can have music which is so hard that maybe it's impossible, and the audience experiences the struggle of the player in a way that no player would allow themselves to be recorded, because everybody wants to be perfect on a recording. But for this piece, the Whisper Opera, what I thought was, what if you made a piece which was so intimate and so quiet that a recording couldn't capture it? And so the idea is to make a piece which is so intimate that only 10 people will be able to hear it at a time. Maybe we'll have to stretch on that a little bit.
Big box office.
Yeah. Well, again, so why does everything need a big box
Right.
office? Some of these ideas are so tiny and so gem-like and so personal that maybe the few people who get to see it, they're going to have this incredible feeling that they won't be able to have any other place. And that these sounds of, moving a flute, just sort of squeaking the joint of a flute, or clicking a key, or the singer whispering, you won't get the text unless the singer is next to you. But having the singer next to you is going to change that relationship. It won't be the relationship at the Met where someone has to project a story which can carry 4,000 seats. What if someone is just there to give the message to you? So why shouldn't that opportunity exist in the world also? But again, it comes out of this thinking, live performance is so great. How do we make sure that that stays noble and necessary?
I think that's fantastic. And I just want to add one thing, which is that we're so thrilled that Carnegie Hall announced last week that you will be composer in residence in 2013-14. We know that'll be filled with wonderful ideas and wonderful presentations. And we're all excited and we're all looking forward to it.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Congratulations on all of these honors.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.